This episode is brought to you by DistroKid. Hey, have you heard? I'm coming back to give guided tours at the Punk Rock Museum in Las Vegas, Friday, May 2nd, Saturday, May 3rd, and Sunday, May 4th. 2 tours each day, one at 12:30 p.m. and one at 4 p.m. Get your tickets now at thepunkrockmuseum.com. The Punk Rock Museum, where you can expect the unexpected. Like the time I saw Fletcher from Pennywise and Noodles from The Offspring randomly hanging out on a Tuesday afternoon. Or Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers having a casual stroll through. Or the time myself and a group walked around the corner to find Fat Mike grilling a married couple about their, never mind. Join me Cinco de Mayo weekend, May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, as I guide you through 5 decades of punk rock memorabilia, flyers, musical instruments, stage gear, outfits, literature, and so much more. Tickets available now at thepunkrockmuseum.com. Hey everyone, today's guest is Anty Horgan, lead vocalist for the psychedelic reggae, ska, doom, metal, punk rock band from hell, the Bennies, from Melbourne, Australia. Together we break down the writing, recording, and inspiration behind the single, Party Machine, taken from their 2016 album, Wisdom Machine. This song is so fun, and it's hard to describe the Bennies. You truly have to see them live. Party Machine is the band's most successful single to date, and that's hardly a surprise. The track was produced by the band, along with an engineer friend of theirs, and the sonics are glorious. This song sounds exactly like the Bennies do live, and for a band that prides themselves on their live show, being able to capture that on a recording is awesome. We've heard this before on the show, where a band has a finished record but decide at the last minute, with zero pressure, to write one more song, and that's Party Machine. So cool that an afterthought has become one of the band's signature songs. So for all this, and a nod to Heavy Metal Parking Lot, don't touch that dial.
Hey, have you heard? Krista makes a podcast. Hey, have you heard? Krista makes a podcast. Hey, have you heard? Krista makes a podcast. Hey, have you heard? Krista makes a podcast.
Anty, I am so proud of you. You're up, bright-eyed and bushy-tail. It's 10 a.m. Sydney time. I had to record during my nighttime. I usually do my recordings in the morning to accommodate you. How you doing this morning?
Yeah, super hungover, actually. It's really disappointing start because this place I get coffee from, which is downstairs, is like good normally, but they've sort of fucked it up. So I'm like, so it was a shitty start to the day. And I got to talk to you. It's bullshit, mate.
Well, I wouldn't expect you to not be hungover, just simply for the fact that we're talking about Party Machine today.
Exactly, yeah, it seems fitting, right?
Which you are the Party Machine. You have a resolve, like, I don't know what it is about Australia. The Frenzal Ram guys used to have this where, you know, you'll walk out of a bar at 4 a.m. and you're like, dead, and you wake up the next day and you feel awful, and then Anty walks in the venue and it's like, how's it going, everybody? You're like, what is going on? So you have a constitution about you, sir, that I admire.
Yeah, true. Well, thank you. Right back. Well, I'm struggling a little bit today, so forgive me if I'm a little foggy.
That's okay. So I did not know, and usually I don't get into this kind of stuff, but I have to ask, I did not know you originally formed as Madonna. That was the name of your band, and I think that is absolutely hysterical.
Yeah. Do you know what, mate? It's so fucking dumb. Oh, man. There's about a year we were called Madonna, because it's actually not – it started I was studying a subject at uni called Nymphs, Sluts, and Madonnas. And so we were originally going to call the band that, and then we were like, oh, just call it Madonna. Like, that's even funnier. And then we're like, oh, that might already be a name. But we basically started with only doing these like 2 a.m. sets at this venue in Melbourne in the city that, yeah, they only did like 2 a.m. sets. So we'd play as Madonna, and that was our starting thing. But people would call up and be like, is Madonna really playing at like 2 a.m. at this shitty little bar in the city? Like, you fucking idiot. Like,
no, it's just us. It's just us.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
You know, we saw you not a couple months ago. Les and Jake and the Bennies did some shows. We started in New Zealand, went over to Oz and did a bunch of shows. And This band, you remind me of a lot of different bands, but you're a party band. You're like Less Than Jake. You're like, I'll say Andrew WK. Were you into Andrew? Were you into his stuff at all?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Because I loved his first two records, and I had the chance to meet him, and I hear that in here, but I also hear the quirky Australianness. I hear Frenzal Ram in here, and some other influences. And I've never asked you, like, your band is such an amalgamation of everything I just said, but if you go to Wikipedia, it says you're an Australian ska punk band, but you guys are self-described as psychedelic reggae, ska, doom, metal, punk rock from hell, and I think that describes you a little bit better.
Oh man, do you know that the reason why we all like hold ourselves so closely to that title, that psychedelics punk rock, blah blah, whatever the fuck it is one of the first few times we went on tour, like around the country, this incident happened with Jules, like our guitarist. We ended up in hospital, and the nurse came in, and he was like kind of like on a few like painkillers and stuff. And the nurse goes like, "Oh, you guys like in a band or something?" And he's like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, man." And then she's like, "What do you play?" And he's like, "Psychedelic ska," right? And just like pulled it out like so seamlessly out of nowhere. We were all like, "What the fuck? We'd never heard this genre thing before." And for someone to come out with that, like, while sort of like I was half tripping on, I don't know, painkillers and stuff, it was fucking so good.
What fascinates me about bands' songs is you wonder sometimes, and I've talked to songwriters that have had massive hits, you don't know what is going to connect with the fans. What's it about Party Machine? I mean, this song's super fun, but you guys, all your songs are pretty upbeat. You're not going to get a ballad from the Bennies. It's upbeat. What is it about this tune you think that has risen to the top?
Yeah, I don't know. I've been thinking about this song a bit because, like, knowing that we were going to have this discussion, it's like, it's kind of weird, man, as well as it's like you hear so much about those songs that are kind of like less labor of love, or like they just sort of happen or whatever or something like that. This one was so spontaneous and like sort of like like sort of just like came together so quickly and like, well, not easily, but like when we recorded this song, we'd never played it live before. We wrote it like it was the last song we wrote before doing our album, that sort of thing. And literally, like, I think it was written like 2 practices before and just came together like super quick and easy. And I think when you're doing party music and upbeat fun music, like that sort of is undeniable through the song. The ones that are just our spur of the moment kind of excitement and fun and stuff, I think that comes across in that song, I think.
Do you think that you didn't have any pressure? You already had a record in the can. I've talked to artists about this. Oh yeah, the record's done, and Party Machine was just kind of an afterthought. You wrote it, you weren't thinking about it, and the next thing you know, you're going, wait a second, that track number 7 there's pretty good.
Yeah. It was, well, like it was only a couple of practices before. We were just like running through, songs for the album, and then it sort of started happening, and it became like real funny. Like, we couldn't stop laughing about it and shit. And it's just like so accidentally, no pressure. And like, particularly like the breakdown in the song as well. It was like, how silly can we be with this? Like, can we try and get away with some techno or something?
Right. I can't wait till we get to that part, because that part is really funny in this song.
So dumb.
You guys released your debut album, Party, Party, Party. Go figure. In September 2011, followed by Better Off Dread. That was an EP in April of 2013. Your second album, Rainbows in Space, came out in November of 2013. Heavy Disco was an EP in 2014. In 2015, the single Party Machine was released. This song ended up being your most successful single to date and was voted into the Triple J Hottest 100 of 2015. And for those that don't know, Triple J is the biggest radio station in Australia. So if you get voted and played on there, it's really cool. That had to feel great.
Yeah, that was such to this day, it's definitely like, there's so many cool things that have come from getting that and having that achievement and stuff. And it's just such an unbelievable thing. Do you know, actually, kind of like in this sort of spirit of waking up a bit hungover today, I slept through it. When we like got like into the Hottest 100, I missed it. Like, it had like a huge weekend, the weekend leading up to it. And it was like, used to be on a public holiday when they would do the countdown. And so like, you got normally a few days off before that and stuff. And I was on a bit of a self-destructive bender of sorts. And so I slept, I woke up like 2 days after it. to like,
You missed your own party, man.
I did. I just so many messages, and you know when you get like so many messages, like fuck, something bad's really happened or something, but it was like, whoa, something really sick's happened. But it was like, fuck, I missed the party.
Yeah, you missed your getting your own accolades.
It was sick as well. They we had a film clip for Party Machine where it's like just some live footage and stuff like that, and Rage, the TV, we call it film clip show here or whatever.
Yeah, Rage TV.
They don't play live footage as a film clip. They refuse to do it. But the thing is they have to play all the songs from the Hottest 100 afterwards. So we managed to sneak Party Machine as a film clip onto Rage through the Hottest 100. It was pretty cheeky.
That's cool. Isn't that funny how the TV shows and late night shows, it doesn't matter what country it is, they all have these crazy rules and stipulations.
Yeah.
Maybe unless you're Metallica or the Stones. Party Machine was the lead single from your third studio album, Wisdom Machine, which was released in March of 2016. I got to give a shout out to the other three singles here: Legalize But Don't Tax, Detroit Rock Siggies, and Corruption. And your latest studio album and fourth album overall is Natural Born Chillers in February 2018. And I want to jump into this song because had I heard the recorded version, studio version, I don't recall the Heavy Metal Parking Lot stuff that was in there. And I'm assuming that's what's at the top too, right? That's the first thing we hear here, right?
Yeah. How did you know that?
Well, because of the very end.
Oh, okay.
The very end of this song. But so I kind of figured that's what we're hearing at the top. The song's 2 minutes and 44 seconds. The intro, the first 5 seconds of the song, is a sample of people partying. Surprise, surprise. I wrote Heavy Metal Parking Lot in parentheses. So good.
We were watching that video heaps when we were recording at the time. Like, whenever you do, like, because this is the longest for Wisdom Machine, is the longest we'd ever spent in the studio, or whatever, in a succession. So, like, you know, you'd walk into the room where people would just be kind of burnt out, but just like Heavy Metal Parking Lot was just sort of like on loop as like fuck, that video is funny, man.
If you haven't seen it, it is a video from the summer of 1986 at a Judas Priest concert somewhere in Maryland, and they filmed these people partying in the parking lot. It's absolutely hysterical. Less than Jake used some of that video in our All My Best Friends Are Metalheads clip, our actual video. We had
no way.
We had Heavy Metal Parking Lot scenes in there. The only reason we never got nabbed for it or sued is we were just, we weren't a priority at Capitol Records, I think. So we were able to get away with it.
Oh, that's sick. I didn't know that. Hey, that's a sick.
Yeah, you'll have to go check it out. We actually used the real footage from it. Never heard a thing from the original movie makers or anything. But
they did a follow-up.
This intro was followed by 16 bars of drums. Man, throwing down just a killer shuffle. Bass and stereo guitars playing a cool distorted riff. The second half has the guitars ringing out, then cutting off. The bass guitar gets super funky on the back half. Those guitars ring out again, and then they're followed by 2 3-strum stabs. These guitars, they're stabs on the guitar, they're percussive in how they are played on these last few stabs before we get into verse 1. Also on the second half, we get a super distorted vocal. You say, well, I gotta, that's panned off left. Well, I gotta, panned off right. Well, I gotta, panned off left. And then we get into verse 1.
Well, I got a thirst that can never be quenched. I got like $35, nothing tough for the night. I only got one life, but it's worth 15. I wanna get wild, get with it, get fucked up. Hey, motherfucker,
well, I got a thirst that can never be quenched. I got my $35 and I'm fixed up for the night. Is it fixed?
I don't know. Wait, I got like $35 and an appetite for the night.
An appetite?
Yeah.
Is that later? Because
is it?
Well, I got a thirst that can never be quenched. I got my $35 and I'm fixed up for the night.
I don't know. I gotta hear it.
But what were you saying it is?
Wait, so I got a thirst that can never be quenched. I got like $35, an appetite for the night.
An appetite for the night.
Yeah.
I love that lyric. That's better than I'm fixed up for the night. We're gonna go with that. I got
What
my
did you have?
$35. Here I found them online. I got my $35 and I'm fixed up for the night.
Nah, that's wrong. Appetite for the night.
Appetite for the night. That's like an album title right there. I love it. I only got one life, but it's worth 15. I want to get wild, get weird, and get fucked up. What does that line mean? I only got one life, but it's worth 15. 15 lives?
I guess, like, that's like that sentiment of like life is short, or there's only one life, or YOLO essentially. It's like you might only have one life, but one's so important that it's worth 15 of them. Like 15 of them. It's just an arrogant call. Like this.
Okay, I was going to say a little bit of an egotistical type.
Yeah.
I get
And
it.
this is so funny hearing these back in this context. I'm having a fucking wild time over here.
A lot of people say that. They say it's strange hearing their lyrics spoken back to them.
It's funny as.
This kind of says what it says. I don't think that this track could have been some esoteric lyric. It is what it is. It's a party machine. It has to kind of be literal, right?
Yeah. There's really, I don't think there's like any real metaphor. I mean, saying is like a quench that can never be thirst, I think is about as metaphoric as it gets, really. Otherwise it's just pretty like whoosh whoosh, like it's a machine. There's no subtlety,
Right on. Well, the drums are keeping the same groove as the intro, along with bass guitar and clean upstroke guitars. Halfway through, I only got one life, but it's worth 15. There's a synth panned off left. It's kind of subtle here in verse 1. I believe the lead vocal here is doubled. Do you recall?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It is. Okay. It sounds great. On the line, Get Fucked Up. The last thing you hear before we get into chorus 1, these big distorted stereo guitars come in here. It's super heavy with this snare drum fill, and we get into chorus 1 at the 40-second mark. Now, you said you wrote this very late in the game for the record, so I'm assuming there was no demo for this.
Well, actually, leading into this, I reached out to Craig, like our old bass player, and I was like, do you remember like have any old demos and stuff? And he had one that he sent me, which would have been from like the last 2 practices before we recorded or something, and it's pretty close to what we did. There's like a few things. It's pretty funny actually listening back to it. The main guitar riff at the start.
Right.
It's pretty funny when in the first demo, like our very first sort of crack at it, it's pretty much the riff from Black Petty. You know that song? Like, oh, Black
yeah,
Petty.
okay.
Yeah, like, so we had to kind of actually change it because we're like, I think it's exactly the same. So that's why like the start's quite similar and stuff.
It does have that 70s like Big Muff distorted vibe to it.
Which is super Jules.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, you mentioned your former bassist, Craig, is it Selak? Is that how you pronounce his last name?
Yeah, Selak, yeah.
Yeah, Selak. Craig sings here in the chorus. And how'd that really come about? Because I feel like you could have sung this chorus. It just felt that Craig's voice was better suited.
Yeah, I mean, Craig was he's a sick singer, and I'm really not. And but I have a lot of ideas. So a lot of our songs, like especially around that time of writing, I would sort of just like yell stuff when we were jamming or have like a hook in mind, and then I'd sort of like not very good at singing and timing. So then sort of Craig would sort of build on it, or we'd sit down and then kind of go from there. So with this chorus, initially, like it was just me being like trying to make them kind of like laugh with hey fucker, like that. That's like, so that kind of became a thing that I was like trying to fuck with them, and then Craig kind of like latched onto it and kind of made it a bit more, if you know what I mean.
The thing about songs, there's sometimes that you're like, you hear a song and you're like, I want to be there right now. Whether this band's playing this song live, if I'm a fly on the wall in the studio, I got to be there. And this song, to me, like when you hear it live or you just listen to the recording, it sounds like you guys were having the most fun of your lives. Were you when you were recording it? Because, I've had people say that to me. I'm like, nah, but that was actually a pretty rough recording. We didn't really have a good time. Like, I know it comes across pretty positive, though.
Nah, that whole time period was like, I reckon one of the best times of my life. Like writing that album and recording it and stuff. It was like challenging and stuff. It was so fucking fun. It felt like we were on the verge of like something pretty exciting, if you know what I mean. Like the energy was definitely noticeable for us. Yeah, I
love it. Well, chorus 1 at the 40-second mark.
Hey motherfucker, I'm a party machine. I said, hey fucker, I'm a hey motherfucker, I'm a party machine. I said,
hey, motherfucker, I'm a party machine. I said, hey, fucker,
What do you mean
I'm a
there?
party. Hey, motherfucker, I'm a party machine. I said, hey, fucker, I'm a party machine. Again, you get what you get here. There's some really cool things here. I already mentioned that Craig Selak is singing, the former bass player. Drums, bass, and these huge stereo guitars are present. This chorus drives super hard. The second time you say party on the second line, I said, hey, fucker, I'm a party. That party is a gang vocal. And on the fourth line, that party's also a gang vocal. But then Craig goes, machine!
So
And is it a Megadeth song? Is it a Pantera? Is it James Hetfield? Who's he emulating there?
I don't know. I've got to say it's Metallica. Hey, like, yeah.
I listened to it like 60 times. I'm like, I know the song. What song did he directly lift that from? I can't think it.
It was one of those things. It's like when you're recording, it's like, too much? Is that too much? Like, nah, man, you can go heaps further than that. Like, it was so funny. Like, yeah.
I picked up that that was tongue in cheek.
Yeah,
it doesn't. I never. Yeah, that's definitely not to be taken.
It's so silly, man.
Too seriously. But I love how that "nyah" at the end, it kind of like puts an exclamation point on the whole thing. We get a 16-bar re-intro. The first 8 bars are like the top of the song. Those stereo guitars are playing that cool, distorted riff. The second half has the guitars ringing out, but this time there is a little synth solo panned off slight right. For the listeners that don't know, Anty, you got your little keyboard up the front of the stage with you. You do all your vocal effects and whatnot. And real quick, how'd that all come about? You know, with wanting to be able to change your vocal on the fly and not worry about a sound guy putting those sound effects on.
Well, I can play trumpet, and I used to play trumpet a bit, and I was like trying to practice in a share house, which is pretty hard. Like, it's a loud instrument. So I bought an electric mute so I could practice with like headphones or whatever, or the trumpet. And then when I had that, I was like, oh, this is electric. That means I can probably like fuck with the sound. So then I bought a delay pedal, and then like I was like playing with that in the trumpet, and I was like, oh, and then I started like screaming into the mute thing and doing the delay on that. I'm like, oh, hang on, I don't need this trumpet thing. I can just do that straight into a microphone or whatever. And it's like so much fun. And there's like, I know, it just felt like a toy or something like that, you know?
I've never talked to you about that, and I think it's really cool. You mentioned a moment ago, and I don't think this about you, but you're like, oh, Craig's the better singer. I'm not don't have that much technical prowess, but what you may lack in, you have your own style.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
And you know, certainly people have used megaphones and mess with their own effects on stage as a vocalist. I know Amy from Interrupters, she has like a delay pedal. A lot of the traditional ska bands will do that.
Yeah, her pedal's sick. I actually got to play with it once. Yeah, it's cool. Oh, hey, also, just with the keys thing from before, I got distracted. So with the keys thing, you know, there's that like lead line or whatever.
Yes.
That you were just talking. That was originally going to be at the start of the song as well, over the guitar as well. We had to like listen to that like so many times, and we're like eventually had to make the call like it's too much, like it just doesn't add anything. So in the pit when it comes in, like normally it was like kind of all through the song up to that point, but then like we kind of like cut it where it was not going to be, if you know what I mean. It's like such a nice fun part to play. It's
funny how sometimes you have to have restraint for the betterment of the song.
Yeah, that's right.
We want it to be there, but wait, we can't give him the whole kitchen sink right off the bat, right?
Yeah, and Jules is such a big personality with his guitar style. It was like really, there's so many moments where we had to make calls on whether it'd be like chord or guitar.
Gotcha. Well, verse 2.
There is a spark in the flame that'll never be dim. It's just a fuel on the fire and a burn like lava. Only got one life, gotta make it worthwhile. I wanna get down, get high, and get messed up. Hey, motherfucker.
There is a spark in the flame that'll never be dimmed. It's just a fuel on the fire and it burns like lava. Only got one life, gonna make it worthwhile. I want to get down, get high, and get messed up.
Do you know, I reckon I fucked up in this verse. I think like in the The first verse should have ended with messed up, and the second verse should have ended with fucked up.
Ah.
That probably would have made more sense, right? That would have built a bit better.
What are you getting at there? Like you'd save the dirty word for the second verse and have a little more impact?
Yeah. I wonder, no, you'd think that would not be how you do it, eh? I actually think I made a mistake. I don't think it was supposed to be that way.
I'm surprised I didn't call you out on that. I'm actually glad you brought it up. You know, a lot of times guys will say, well, that was supposed to be the second verse, but I sang it out of context, or the engineer thought, you know what? That second verse actually sounds better as a first verse.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool that it went down just like you said it did, but just you didn't think about it.
Yeah, well, these were all like, it would have been a bit like, I think I really like these verse vocals because they feel quite, I know I can tell that like in a good way, like, you can tell I'm not quite, like I'm still sort of trying to find it a little bit, but like there's like the sort of confident delivery on it or something like that. But you can tell like, well, I mean, I can hear that they're like fresh lyrics, if you know what I mean. They would have been written like a couple of days beforehand or something. So I think like fucking up the lyrics, like getting them mixed up first verse and second verse is probably kind of cool in that way.
Yeah, and isn't that so funny when you first, there's been times I've been in a vocal booth and Roger will say, you sound like you're reading. Meaning, I sound like I'm reading the lyrics because it's so new.
Yeah.
And he's like, kind of relax with it. I got to step back from it and be like, okay, how do I put a little bit of myself into this? And
yeah, it's a really tough balance, that one, right? We use like a lot of like sort of spoken word in our songs and stuff like that. And yeah, as soon as it starts, like it sounds like it's like reading, or it gets too like on the thing, it just like, it sounds terrible.
No, it does. And I learned a long time ago that I have to stop looking at the grid in Pro Tools. I have to stop looking at where it's lined up, because I'll look at it and be like, I'm so late or I'm so early. But then you have to go back and say to yourself, but does it sound good? Stop
exactly.
looking at the screen.
Yeah.
Does it sound and feel good? And sometimes those push-pull, you listen to any of those Motown records back in the day, or a lot of those 70s funk records, and those were cut live off the floor, you know, and you can hear the push and the pull of those tracks. Some cool stuff going on here in verse 2. No clean upstroke guitar. Instead, we get this bouncy little like palm mute riff panned off right. What was the thought there?
It's really rude, that part. I love it. It's so like, I don't know, funky, a bit porno or something like that, you know, like, yeah, it's rude.
It's so danceable and so good, but so was the ska guitar. Was that a hard decision to make, not having the clean upstroke here in verse 2?
Yeah, I don't know how we kind of landed on. I think that it was one of those things, again, it was like, there's a lot of good ideas here. We just have to make the tough call. And I think normally, once again, I think like most sort of ska punk songs would probably do the ring outs as the first verse and the second verse, like, you know, the upstrokes come in. But I think we were just trying to say like, oh, we'll just do it slightly differently or whatever. And yeah, and I remember when that guitar bit came about in that verse, it was like such one of those moments that everyone's like cheering and laughing. Like it felt like so silly, I don't know, yeah.
Oh, no, it's great. It keeps that part moving, and it's just, it's something different for your ear.
You couldn't be more spot on as well. And with like my vocals in these verses, like the whole sentiment was to try and keep them like pretty on the thing, like as the Machine kind of vibe or whatever. So any bits of flavor that weren't so like da were like a nice fucking like yeah.
Well, that warrants itself to this song, especially when we get to the bridge and we get that robotic stuff you're talking about, that vocal wise that comes in.
Hey, we got to take a quick break for a word from our sponsors, but we'll be right back with lots more with Anty Horgan.
Looking to elevate your music career? DistroKid is a digital music distribution service that enables musicians to distribute their music to online stores and streaming platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Amazon, Tidal, and many more. DistroKid collects earnings and payments, sending them to you, the artist. With DistroKid, artists unlock a world of possibilities. From easily paying collaborators with splits to securing your music with DistroLock, DistroKid covers all bases. Plus, you can promote your releases with Hyperfollow and create eye-catching visuals with a Spotify Canvas generator, all for free. But that's not all. Introducing the DistroKid app, now available on iOS and Android. Artists can manage their releases, view streaming stats, and withdraw earnings, all from the palm of their hand. And for those looking to perfect their sound, check out Mixia. With its simple interface and customizable mastering options, artists can make their music sound polished and professional within minutes. And don't forget about Instant Share, DistroKid's newest feature. Share large files securely with collaborators, producers, and more, ensuring your music streams at the highest quality. Ready to take your music to the next level? Download the DistroKid app and explore their suite of tools today. Plus, listeners can enjoy 30% off their first year by visiting distrokid.com/VIP/DeMakes. That's distrokid.com/VIP/DeMakes.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Skims or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling and for shoppers buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. It's home of ShopPay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/income.
It's tourney time, and with FanDuel's Dog of the Day, you can get a daily profit boost during the College Conference Championships to bet on any underdog. So get ready to celebrate some upsets.
No one saw that coming, except for me, baby.
21 plus in present select states. Opt-in required. Minimum plus 100 odds required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The spirit of innovation is deeply ingrained in America, and Google is helping Americans innovate in ways both big and small. The Department of Defense is working with Google to help secure America's digital defense systems, from establishing cloud-based zero-trust solutions to deploying the latest AI technology. This is a new era of American innovation. Find out more at g.co/American innovation.
I was never really a runner. The way I see running is a gift, especially when you have stage 4 cancer. I'm Anne. I'm running the Boston Marathon, presented by Bank of America. I run for Dana-Farber Cancer Institute to give people like me a chance to thrive in life, even with cancer.
Join Bank of America in helping Anne's cause. Give if you can at BofA.com/supportAnne. What would you like the power to do? References to charitable organizations is not an endorsement by Bank of America Corporation. Copyright 2025.
Lowe's is the destination for Ego outdoor power equipment this spring. See what's new and exclusive, like the 17-inch string trimmer with Line IQ technology that auto-feeds to save you time. And the 22-inch Select Cut self-propelled mowers with a multi-blade system for precise cutting. Shop Ego Days, happening now during Springfest at Lowe's. We help, you save. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
Hey everyone, Chris DeMakes here, and I've got some exciting news. Chris DeMakes a Podcast is now on Patreon. Your support is what keeps this show going, allowing us to bring you deep dives into amazing songs from incredible artists every week. When you join our Patreon at chrisdemakes.com, you'll get instant access to hundreds of episodes of The After Party, our weekly bonus show where producer Chris Fafalius and I talk music history, trivia, tour stories, classic albums, and whatever else comes to mind. Plus, you'll get early ad-free episodes of Chris DeMakes a Podcast, unedited video versions of each episode, and, of course, a brand new episode of The After Party every single week. If our show brings you a little joy, help us keep it going strong for just a couple bucks a month at chrisdemakes.com. Not ready to commit? No problem. You can sign up for a free membership while you decide. Thanks so much, everyone, and I hope to see you all at The After Party.
Loving every word you say. Got me on my knees screaming fucking please. One more is one more day.
And now, back to the show.
Verse 2, a couple more things here. On the Line, Only Got One Life, Gonna Make It Worthwhile. We get a synth panned off left that was there in verse 1, but it's louder this time in verse 2. And when you say get messed up, those big stereo guitars accent here again before we get into chorus 2.
Hey motherfucker, I'm a party machine. I said, hey fucker, I'm a hey motherfucker, I'm a party machine. I said, hey fucker, I'm a party machine.
Chorus 2, same lyrics and instrumentation as chorus 1. We get that I'm a part of a machine. We get that exclamation point again. You know, I say this all the time on the show, but I'm assuming you weren't going to interject any new lyrics here, right? It's a dance song, essentially.
Yeah.
Dance songs just hit you with the refrain over and over, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this whole thing was like trying to make a techno punk song.
You succeeded.
There's almost like too many lyrics in it by having two verses. Like I think we were only going to do one verse at the start as well. But yeah.
Now this song is so fun. And before I forget, I had it written way down here in my notes, and I'm glad I didn't. I just glanced over. Who produced this track?
Well, we've never technically had like a producer, I guess, but it was Sam Johnson was recording it, who's done like heaps of our stuff. And like, I guess you'd say he was producing, but not really. We've never really had one, actually.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess you'd say he sort of does it, but then I guess we would all do it a bit together as well. It wasn't really a clear-cut thing and that thing.
So you're essentially self-producing, but this track sounds awesome.
Yeah, Sam's he's a gun. He knows, and he got the task. You know, like when you write a song and it's like super. Once you kind of know exactly what it is that you're going to be about or what the theme is, all the like the tones and shit around it are kind of like easy to land on those decisions and stuff. And Sam gets the band. Like he understands he understands our humor. He gets us really well and stuff. So when we were like, this is going to be a techno punk song, he was like, I know how to do that. Cause he was a ravey drug kid at some point, you know?
Ravey drug kid. I love it. Well, you know, it sounds like it was produced in a fancy, great studio. It sounds awesome. It really does.
Yeah, it sounds so good, hey.
Yeah, and I couldn't find any info on who produced, so I definitely wanted to ask that. The bridge comes off the heels of chorus to the first 8 bars. Have the kick drum and bass guitar super locked. On the back half, we get a cool little guitar solo.
One part party, one part machine. One part party, I'm a party machine. One part party, one part machine. One part party, I'm a party machine.
One part party, one part machine. One part party, I'm a party machine. One part party, one part machine. One part party, I'm a party machine.
Whoa, what does that mean? Oh, shit. That was Craig. That's Craig's genius there.
Has anybody else ever said they're a party machine? I mean, that sounds like a pretty simple phrase, but I don't know if that's ever been... It almost sounds like an early 90s dance show, you know? Welcome to Party Machine.
It's so bad. It's like tacky as fuck, hey? It's awesome.
No, it's perfect. But let me tell you something. If the listeners knew you guys, this makes so much sense. Not just this song. Yeah, I mean, bands have written about getting messed up and you know, drinking and partying and having a good time forever. But if they knew you guys and your spirit and what you were about, this song makes so much sense. You could say it's cheesy, whatever, but it definitely makes a ton of sense if you know how fun you guys are.
I feel like this song walks a really, really nice line of having fun with all that sort of cheesy, sort of tacky sort of stuff. Like, I know, breaking it down now, like super aware of even just like the little things that were making us laugh while doing it. And it's like, I don't know, like the song doesn't at all take itself too seriously, and neither does like the Bennies and stuff. And I feel like there's a heaps beauty in that. But this song's got like, I feel like it just walks that line pretty well. Like, you know, you're talking before about the machine. I know we didn't lead into those sort of gags as much as we had in this song prior to this, I don't reckon.
Yeah, no, there's just a ton of personality. This thing's dripping with personality, and that's what I love so much about it. In the bridge here, Craig sings this part too. Yep. The snare is playing a marching band kind of feel for the first 2 lines with the bass guitar and palm muted stereo guitars. The synth is present and goes haywire on the back half, as does the snare drum. On the second time around, when Craig says one part machine, it's one part machine. It's like robotic. And then the party machine at the end is super robotic and by itself. And I'll say it again, it lends itself perfectly to what's going on in this bridge.
It's perfect. Hey, so that's that was Bowie who did the vocoder at the very end. So up at that point, Bowie's only vocals on any Benny stuff was all through a vocoder. So he, like, whenever there was
that was him. That was Bowie in this part.
Yeah, just that one part.
Okay.
Through the micro Korg. Yeah.
So Bowie is your former drummer. I did not know he sang on this part.
Nah. Well, yeah, most people don't. It's a robot Bowie.
That's awesome. Okay, I just assumed that was Craig there because he had done the choruses. That's
we just
awesome.
had this weird rule that if there was ever a vocoder, Bowie had to do it.
You keep talking about techno, and this whole song has 1 foot in analog and 1 foot in digital, definitely. Okay, there's all kinds of stuff going on. But for the next part, I wrote this, okay? And please join us now as we step into a rave for 8 bars. Kick, drum, and 2 trippy synths throughout, joined by a process snare hand clap combo before returning to chorus 3. You know, coming out of the bridge, this song didn't technically need this part. You could have went into chorus 3, doubled it, and said goodbye to everybody. Why was that so important to get this shoehorned into the song? Because it's hilarious and it's awesome.
Oh, it's the best fucking bit. To me, it makes the whole song sort of like make sense and stuff. It's like the machine kind of taking over. It's the drugs kicking in. It's a fuck you. Like being like I don't know, like being able to just throw like such a rude techno thing in the middle of a punk song feels so fucking brash and arrogant or something. And it's like, I don't know, it's fucking drug culture, I reckon. Like, you know, like that. Yeah, out of nowhere.
When you guys were supporting us, and I've only really seen you on support slots, you wouldn't do this because you have a shorter set. But do you guys ever extend that part? Because you could just have that go for 10 minutes, that techno part.
Yeah, well, it's a bit of a trap. Like, yeah, especially because everyone gets confused. And then if people in the crowd start singing along, they often come in at the wrong part. So it's like it can really be a disaster. But that's the funnest bit to play live, because what we do, I think we were doing it on tour with you where we had like this tour with you, we're adding like Rain in Blood by Slayer in there. Like, yeah, so we used to add Sabotage by the Beastie Boys. We've done like a few different songs like in there, like as a part of the, like after the techno cutting, before the techno cutting to that part or whatever, like a different song. Cause yeah, why not? But, what we tried to, do you know that song? Ooh, bow, bow. That song, whatever.
Is that Yellow?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. We tried to add that in once, and it was the biggest disaster. Like, we never got back into the song. We just couldn't come back. I don't know. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Was this this rave 8-bar breakdown here, Departure, was this written before? Did you have this sitting around, or was this?
Nah. At this time when we were writing this song, we were all really obsessed with the idea of trying to make things sound like techno. And so like Bowie was using the electric sample pad thing a lot and stuff. So one of the songs was going to get a techno bit shoehorned in, like we were pushing for it really hard, and it just like made so much sense for it to do this song.
That's awesome. What did your engineer think of this part? And you said he's an old rave kid. He had to love it, right?
Yeah, we were all like laughing so much. It was like, it's sort of like bring back some fun memories even, because like, as I said, we hadn't played this song live before, and most of our songs probably, even before we recorded, we did a set where we played the album from start to finish, like just to see what, worked or what didn't and stuff. And we didn't even play that at this or whatever. And so anytime we got to play this part to people, it was like, oh, check out our new recording. And then to get to that part, like people's reactions are so funny. Like it was like, well, what? Yeah, it's sort of weird. After time now, it sort of feels like a normal part of the song, but it was pretty fucking stupid at the time.
That's awesome. Well, we get out of this part, this techno part, and we're into another full chorus.
Hey, motherfucker, I'm a party machine. I said, hey, fucker, I'm a... Hey, motherfucker, I'm a party machine. I said, hey, fucker, I'm a machine. run back my car, drink a few beers, and pick on some unsuspecting victims.
Chorus 3, hey motherfucker, I'm a party machine. I said, hey fucker, I'm a party. Hey motherfucker, I'm a party machine. I said, hey fucker, I'm a party machine. And this time, Craig changes the delivery. You still get the "nah" kind of. It's not as pronounced, but we get a very spirited "woo" at the end.
it's oh man, that's like the kindergarten like sign off or something.
Yeah, well, it's like I don't know, the icing on the cake. I'll use the term exclamation point again. I don't know, just kind of puts a timestamp on everything.
It does feel like the final like toot of the party blower thing. Hey,
there you go. Yeah, out of chorus 3. Well, before we go on, chorus 3 here. You certainly could have milked this more. You could have doubled or had this chorus go longer.
Yeah.
Was that ever a discussion, or was the song just enough?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like we were always pretty conscious of not like overdoing the choruses and stuff like that. And I don't know, it's like one of those songs like, you kind of probably want to leave people wanting a little bit more with this one, you know? Like, I think if we overdid it, it might be a bit too like, too repetitive. I think, like, you know, you kind of want it to be that, like, what just happened? Go again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, but I mean, that would be the, songwriting 101 easiest trick. Oh, let's just double the chorus at the end. You guys didn't do that. You did one chorus, then we get an outro. It's that intro guitar hook again for 8 bars. There's a cool little full band stop that happens halfway through before the band ends altogether. And the last thing you hear is another sample from Heavy Metal Parking Lot at the very end. And that sample is, my goal tonight, I'm gonna give a little Southern twang to it.
Yeah, do it, for sure.
My goal tonight is sit back, run back my car, drink a few beers, and puke on some unsuspecting victims.
Puke on some unsuspecting victims.
And that's it. You said you didn't play the song before it was released. And back in the day, before stuff could go online in an instant, Les and Jake always played our songs. We wanted to road test them. We were a live band. I know you guys pride yourself on being a live band.
Yeah,
you can't really get the Bennies unless you see it. You guys are phenomenal live. You're so much fun. But do you recall the first time you played it, what the response was like? Because to me, this song is kind of immediate. Like, you hear it, it's so much fun. Was it great off the bat, or did people have to kind of know it first?
No, I kind of don't even really feel like I remember it sort of. Yeah, I don't really remember playing it for live the first time, but I have so many memories of playing it to like friends and stuff early on, being like, because as I said at the start, it was a very like cool time for the band. We're all like super excited. We had like so much momentum and stuff like that. And we're really like pushing pretty hard and stuff. And like, yeah, when people were like, how's the new recording going? And it was would always be playing that song and Corruption, like those two songs, because like they had such like wow factor, I reckon, and just like, particularly that breakdown, like when, like the whole time I'd be like watching people like get these parts coming up and stuff, and everyone would always like laugh or like scream and stuff. It was like such a cool response to a song for people to like have such an exaggerated emotional response. Like, pretty rad.
I love that. Well, listen, I want to thank you for sitting in. We've been trying to get this coordinated. It's really difficult when you're 14 hours ahead in the future to try to make this happen. So Australia, anytime I have an Australian on here, I've done my due diligence to figure out the time. But
yeah,
before we break, what's coming up with the Bennies? What do you got going on?
So we're about to put out our next album.
Great.
Which is coming out in April 18th. It's a new album called You Can't Put Out This Fire. And it's fucking so good. It's our best album to date.
I love it. How many tracks did you record?
It's 19 tracks.
19 songs.
Yeah, we went kind of like, we were going to like halve it. And then we're kind of like, it's just a perfect timestamp of us sort of like rekindling, getting our shit back together and stuff. It's all written in one location. So it just feels like, I don't know, I feel like we're at a point where it's, I don't know, like don't need to cater too much to how to do things the correct way and stuff. So I feel like every band's putting out like, 10 track albums and stuff like that. But I don't know, I feel like the Bennies is just what we are now. So it's like this cool confidence. So like we want to put out 19 tracks on an album. It's probably like the dumb idea, but it makes sense to us. So yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's dumb. It kind of goes back to those 90s records. We were talking about this recently, my producer and I, Chris.
Yeah.
Like Out Come the Wolves by Rancid and some of those 1920 songs. You got your money's worth. But listen, man, again,
cool.
Thank you for sitting in and talking about the party. You are the party machine.
Oh, man, it's so flattering to be asked. And as I said, like, I've been listening to heaps of your podcasts. You're so good at it, man. You make it so, it's so informed, but your passion comes through really nicely and stuff.
I appreciate it. And man, go drink some water and go back to bed.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have a cone and go back to bed. I got this.
I'm a conversation killer, looking in the mirror. Lines as long as cool to Kira, cause it's COCAINE. That's the way we spell New York, right on. James, right on.
Man, what a fun conversation with Anty Horgan. I can't wait to talk to Chris about this episode. In the rap segment that's coming right up, we also got the band you might not know coming right up after a few words from our sponsors, so don't go anywhere.
Wow, this house is cute. But can I really get in the game in this economy? I do have savings, and I am responsible-ish. I should bury it. I'm being wild. But what if I'm not being wild, though? Could I actually score a...
Kick off your home buying journey with Zillow's new BuyAbility tool. It makes it easy to find out what you can afford, so you can get off the bench and onto the playing field with confidence. Check your BuyAbility, only on Zillow.
Eczema isn't always obvious, but it's real. And so is the relief from Ebglyss. After an initial dosing phase of 16 weeks, about 4 in 10 people taking Ebglyss achieved itch relief and clear or almost clear skin. And most of those people maintain skin that's still more clear at 1 year with monthly dosing.
Ebglyss, lebrikizumab LBKZ, a 250 milligram per 2 milliliter injection, is a prescription medicine used to treat adults and children 12 years of age and older who weigh at least 88 pounds or 40 kilograms with moderate to severe eczema, also called atopic dermatitis, that is not well controlled with prescription therapies used on the skin or topicals, or who cannot use topical therapies. Ebglyss can be used with or without topical corticosteroids. Don't use if you're allergic to Ebglyss. Allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Eye problems can occur. Tell your doctor if you have new or worsening eye problems. You should not receive a live vaccine when treated with Ebglyss. Before starting Ebglyss, tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection.
Searching for real relief? Ask your doctor about Ebglyss and visit ebglyss.lilly.com or call 1-800-LILY-RX or 1-800-545-5979.
Welcome to us talking about our podcast for a minute.
What's the name of that podcast?
That's Axe to Grind, and right now you're going to be getting a little taste of it, right down to the shaking microphone and all.
And my name's Bob.
And my name's Patrick, and usually we're joined by Tom.
Tom's the best. Tom has a real grown-up job that requires him to be at work, but we talk about decidedly not so grown-up things like
hardcore music and things that people that like hardcore music tend to like.
So that could be the latest shows, revisiting classic material, talking about the new classics, all the little dorm room nonsense that you imagine from niche music podcasts that you either love, want to love, or hate.
Yeah, imagine all the emotions that you have towards a genre that has impacted your life, and then condense them down to an hour to 2 hours a week.
So triangulate your speakers, think about jumping off the bed, singing along, dancing like an idiot, and listen to Axe to Grind podcast.
Hello, everybody. I'm Bruce.
And I'm Nolan, and this is the Corner of Gray Street podcast. As longtime Dave Matthews Band fans, we set out to create a podcast to dive deep into the past, present, and future of DMB.
Not only do we recap and review shows within an ongoing tour, but we revisit past shows from throughout the band's history, conduct interviews with a wide variety of guests with ties to DMB, and create unique and exclusive content like our Concerts on the Corner series.
Whether you're a fan of the band or just a fan of great music, we think you'll find something you'll enjoy. We can't wait to see you on the Corner of Gray Street.
Hey everyone, this is Tuck from Fit for a King, an off-road minivan. Every week I bring you fun interviews alongside your favorite metalcore entertainers with my new podcast, Get Tucked. Join me every Monday with bands like Counterparts, Crystal Lake, like Moths to Flames, and many more. We play unsigned and undiscovered bands, deep dive into each artist's history, and of course provide the greatest breakdowns in current metalcore. Tune in to Get Tucked every Monday, out now through Sound Talent Media.
This is the story of Whitney Houston,
This is the story of Kurt Cobain,
of George Michael, of Otis Redding, of Amy Winehouse, of Michael Hutchence, Bob Marley. This is the story of Prince,
It's a new podcast series.
about how they died, why they died, and why we're still talking about them so long after.
It's like nothing you've ever heard before.
It's storytelling.
But it's more than that, because rock stars,
They tell us how we feel. They change our mood,
they change the clothes we wear, the people we hang out with.
the way we remember things.
It's them who give us those ludicrous moments, the ones where you...
Jumping around, singing your heart out, feeling understood.
And it's those moments we'll help you remember, the ones you're thinking about right now.
That feeling.
That feeling.
It's coming soon from Crowd Network.
Just search for Death of a Rock Star on your podcast app.
And subscribe now.
Hey, I'm Chris Fafalius, producer of Chris DeMakes a Podcast, and also host of One Hit Thunder. Each week on the One Hit Thunder podcast, we take a look into a one-hit wonder band or artist to determine if they deserved more success or if they were lucky to even have a hit at all. We've covered When in Rome, Jaquan, Shanice, Yellow, Squirrel Nut Zippers, Jesus Jones, Positive K, Mazzy Star, and hundreds more. With new episodes every Wednesday and special guests from the worlds of music and comedy, we always have nonstop fun, and maybe, if we're lucky, we discover some new favorite music. So if you love great songs and you often find yourself asking, whatever happened to that band? Check out One Hit Thunder wherever you get your podcasts.
As we near the end of the show, here's a band you might not know.
Welcome to this week's Band You Might Not Know. If you'd like your band to be considered for Chris DeMakes a Podcast, email your best song via MP3 only and a short bio to bandyoumightnotknow@gmail.com. This week's featured artist is Brutal Youth, a punk rock band from Toronto, Canada. Their latest full-length album is called Rebuilding Year. You can find them on all the streaming platforms or live when they hit your town. Here's a snippet of their song, You Can Call Me Al Yankovic.
The Wrap with Chris and Chris.
So, Chris, you told me that Anty was a cool guy, and he just had that instant Australian charm, man. I just thought to myself, from the second I started talking to this guy before you guys recorded, I was like, I want to party with this guy.
I'm not going to out him on his age. You could probably figure out yourself. He's not young, but he looks young. His spirit is young. Everything about him is fun. You really have to see the Bennies live. They're an instantaneous band. They're one of those bands. I've always said, you go see those bands that you don't have to know one of their songs, but you have a blast at their show. That's the Bennies.
Yeah, one of the things he said about the song is, well, he was talking about the song, but I think it's just the band in general, doesn't take itself too seriously, and there's beauty in that. And, dude, isn't partying and just having a good time what rock and roll is supposed to be all about?
Yeah, I mean that's the goal, right? I don't care what kind of music. You mentioned rock and roll, but yeah, music's supposed to be uplifting. Even sad songs can be uplifting.
Sure.
But this tune is much like its title. It's a party. Anty's up there. He's got that synth that it's the loudest thing in the mix, and then he'll get the delay and he'll be screaming and he'll put all these crazy delays on it. And he kind of walked back on himself a little bit, saying, I don't really have a technical prowess as a singer. I'm like, but man, you have style.
Yeah.
Great style.
Just a humble guy. But I loved it. Chris, as your producer who sends you notes, I will say that lyric, I got my $35, and I forget what it actually was, but we thought it was, I got my $35 and I'm fixed up for the night.
Correct.
I'll tell you, I double checked on my phone, I use Apple Music, and it has the lyrics actually come up, like the official lyrics, and that's what it says in here. So you can't blame me, the guy who sent you the lyrics, for getting them wrong if they were wrong.
This might be another Dr. Dennis situation here, Chris. I swear it sounds like Fixed to me. I listened to it 30 times, but Anty says no.
Yeah. This, once again, we've talked about this before in other episodes, Chris. This is a prime example of if a band has fun creating and recording a song. I believe it was Ben Lee, another Australian, who said this. If you have fun creating and recording a song, it's just as fun to listen to. Another prime example from another Australian artist this week.
Yeah, and I think that definitely translates. There are recordings made back in the day, and you read the excerpts from the engineers and producers that worked on those recordings, like, oh, the vibe in the studio was such a party, it was so much fun. You can feel that. And conversely, you can feel when things were dark in the studio. I got Less Than Jake songs and records that we did, and I know what we were all going through, and I can hear it seeping through the music.
Yeah, for sure. Chris, you also brought, this song is what you might call a bop. It's under 3 minutes. And like you said, that final chorus, you could have doubled, you could have tripled that final chorus. But I do think it's always a good idea, like was said in the episode, to leave people wanting more. Leave them, as you've said many times, wanting to start the song over again. Don't make them sick of the song by the end. Leave them wanting more. I think that's good advice.
Yeah, and when you're doing something like the Bennies, again, if they wanted to take that techno section and do it for 10 minutes and just have everybody lose their minds for that long, fine. But yeah, this is a pop song. It's a simple pop song. It's fun. The lyrics again aren't super heady, and it's just, it is what it is. And sometimes that's what makes a song. It doesn't have to be poetic.
And speaking about that, like raver type part of the song, that techno part, the bridge. Have you ever been to a rave? I've never actually been to a rave.
Yes, I went a couple of times in the 90s. I went to a rave.
Okay, yes, and, the perfect time to go to a rave.
Yeah, and it was weird for a number of reasons. And this was in Orlando. I don't know if raves got much bigger than Orlando. Old Club Firestone. Club Firestone, Less Than Jake used to play there. They'd have dance nights and they'd have punk nights or music nights. And it was an old Firestone tire place.
Oh.
Yeah, Club Firestone.
Interesting.
Yeah, right on Orange Avenue. So yes, I have been to a rave.
It's funny though, because I remember in the 90s there being some sort of like rivalry of like the punks and skateboarders versus the ravers. Like that was kind of a thing. Or am I imagining that?
No, you're not imagining it, but make no bones about it. The skaters, when they get drunk, the first people they'd be calling for drugs is the ravers. So,
Right. It's funny. My friend PJ, we've talked about like, I didn't know anything about raves or the drugs that you did at raves when I was younger, but I always laughed because I always thought you'd see people coming out of raves or something. I remember seeing kids at the ice skating rink and be like, why does that dude have Vaseline all over his face? But my friend PJ corrected me. He said, that's actually like Vicks Vapo Rub. And when you're doing these like weird raver drugs, you put that on your face because the tingling feels real good or something like that.
Yeah. I can't say I was into the rave culture. I did go to a rave. I wasn't there till like 5 a.m. I was there from like midnight till 2 and that was it. It wasn't my thing, but I'll tell you something that is my thing, Chris.
Oh, what's that?
That's our Patreon over at ChrisDeMakes.com. Head over there and check things out. You can expound if you'd like, Chris. Tell them what they get.
I can expound on that. ChrisDeMakes.com. It's our Patreon. It's the most direct way to support this show, and we give you a lot in return. Weekly episodes of The After Party, a huge back catalog, hundreds of episodes of The After Party, early ad-free releases of the new episodes of Chris DeMakes a Podcast, the unedited video. A lot of people ask for video of the episodes, and you could ask anyone who's a member of our Patreon if they enjoy it, including, I want to give a shout out to some of the first people who ever signed up for our Patreon, Chris. Matt Albert, Tom Brantley, Mark Leibowitz, Landon Fitzgerald, Rich Parker. These are some of the first people when we first launched the Patreon that signed up. So I want to give a shout out to those 5 guys. I mean, there's a lot of other people I'll give shout outs to eventually here, but I want to say thank you to those guys. And you could go to ChrisDeMakes.com and sign up for our Patreon. And another thing you could do, Chris, is leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Would you like to hear a review today?
I always want to hear a review. Which one's this from? They always have funny names.
Yeah, this one, speaking of that, this one is from Sloth Buddy. I don't know if this means like the animal, the sloth, or like the deadly sin, the sloth. One of those two. Did you ever see that movie Seven? You know the movie Seven?
Yeah, with Brad Pitt. Yeah.
The sloth, the guy who was in the
eating spaghetti.
Oh, yeah. Horrible scene. Absolutely terrible scene. We're going to go with Sloth Buddy is named after the cute animal, the cute, very slow animal.
I love spaghetti, Chris, but I don't know if I ate spaghetti for a couple of years after that scene, and I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, he had to cut the Chef Boyardee out of the diet for a while there. Okay, Sloth Buddy left us 5 stars and wrote top-notch podcast, and also wrote, Chris and Chris have made an amazing podcast. It is impressive how much thought and analysis go into each episode. It's awesome to hear guests shocked and impressed at the depth of analysis of their own songs. Chris DeMakes both has a gifted ear for breaking down songs and an impressively accurate and detailed memory, and shares awesome stories from his own experience. If you guys wind up reading this out loud, just want to say, hello! And if you like this review, please give it 5 stars, because that's what helps keep me writing reviews.
I love it. Well, thank you, Sloth Buddy. I think Sloth Buddy needs to be the next single from the Bennies.
Yeah, there you go.
Another party anthem.
Are there sloths in Australia?
Sure. Yeah, they got sloths at the zoo. Yeah. I don't know if they're...
I didn't know if they were I don't know where sloths are native. It's funny for how much I like sloths. I don't know where they're native. Okay, enough. I'm talking too much.
We'll talk about sloths on the after party, but
okay.
Yeah, thanks to each and every one of you who leaves those reviews, and thanks to everybody on the Patreon, the names we mentioned and gave shout outs to, and all the rest of you. We'll eventually shout you all out. I want to thank this week's guest, Anty Horgan, for sitting in with us, and we'll catch you next week. Hey friends, have you been loving Chris DeMakes the podcast? Well, spread the love by leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Don't hesitate to share what you enjoy about the show in an actual written review on Apple Podcasts. Not only does it help more people discover us, but we often read reviews in the rap segment of the show. It's a quick, cost-free way to support us and takes just a minute of your time. Your reviews mean the world to us and help us keep the podcast thriving. Thank you for being a listener, and thank you for being a friend.
Hey, this is Dewey Halpus, host of Peer Pleasure on the Sound Talent Media Podcast Network. Join me each week as I explore another long-form conversation with one of your favorite musicians, actors, comedians, or creatives. From Chino Moreno of the Deftones, John Gorley of Portugal the Man, to Fat Mike from NoFX and Ian MacKaye from Fugazi and Minor Threat, we go all over the map. From Fall Out Boy to Slayer, Peer Pleasure has it all. Check us out now on Sound Talent Media.
Hello out there. Hi, I'm Hal Schwartz.
And I'm Flynn McLean. We want to tell you about our podcast, None But the Brave, which is dedicated to taking a deep dive into the work of Bruce Springsteen.
We're currently in our 5th season. Our latest episodes focus heavily on Bruce's 2024 tour and have featured such guests as Anthony Castrovince from MLB Network and Barstool's Kirk Minahan.
We're also covering the 40th anniversary of Bruce's biggest record, Born in the USA. And as part of that, coming up this week, Uprock's cultural critic Stephen Hyden returns to the show for a fascinating hour-long conversation about his new book, There Was Nothing You Could Do, Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA and the End of the Heartland.
To listen, you can go to our website, mbtbpodcast.com, or subscribe on your preferred podcasting platform.
We hope to see you further on up the road.
Thank you so much. We'll be seeing you.